Welcome into 360 Sports. Today we are talking about the NFL, and I'm joined by Kennedy, Cadyn, Katie, Peyton. It's a mouthful of names right there. But let's get right into it. This Sunday started off strong with the Colts. 9:30 a.m. I'm going to be honest, woke up and it was halftime of this game.
Yep.
But I didn't miss the second half. I have Jonathan Taylor on my fantasy team. He had a huge day. What do you guys' takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, you could argue this man is a MVP case right now. The Colts just have so many weapons, and they all complement each other. Tyler Warren working underneath. You got Alec Pierce out wide. But what has really impressed me is Indianapolis's offensive line is just so good at consistently executing each individual assignment. They're displacing people in the run game, creating huge holes for Jonathan Taylor. And Daniel Jones looks comfortable, and when your quarterback's comfortable in the NFL, that's a really good thing. There's not a lot of pressure, and it feels like these are the Peyton Manning days in Indianapolis.
I agree with that MVP quote. I think Daniel Jones looks comfortable, and that helps the rest of the team, the rest of the morale. And I'm going to say, I do think we have a MVP Jonathan Taylor on our hands right now. And back in 2012 was the last time we had a non-quarterback MVP. And I think that this is a year we could look at for Taylor. And I think this year he had 5 hat tricks this season. And back the last 2 non-quarterbacks we've had, that one MVP had 5 hat tricks in the season. And he has 7 more games to go. So I'm really looking forward to see what he has for us this season.
Yeah, he's definitely set himself up for that MVP title. I mean, the Colts, I don't know about you guys, I'm shocked by how they're playing this year. They're 8-2. Good win this week. I was a little surprised how close it was with the Falcons. I mean, they're not having that great of a season. But, yeah, they go into a bye this weekend, then next they play the Chiefs, who, I don't know, not playing too hot this season. So
That's gonna be a good
game. Yeah.
I'm gonna give a shout out to somebody I'm sure everybody here misses, and that's Tyler Warren. He had 8 catches for 99 yards. He had 2 huge plays, one on 4th and 2, and the other one was an over-the-shoulder grab. I think it was in overtime. I mean, a tight end shouldn't be making that play. So this Colts team's rolling. The defense is great, of course, and yeah, let's see if they play the Chiefs soon. So that's gonna be a great game.
Yeah.
Moving on from one MVP candidate to the next. Let's talk about Drake May. I mean, this season that he is putting together is very great right now, and it's given the Bills a little bit run for their money for the division, something they haven't had to worry about in like 5 years now. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I want to preface this, and not because he's on my fantasy football team or anything. See what happens when you give the ball to Travion Henderson. Good things happen when you give him opportunities. He was a proven game breaker at Ohio State. We saw flashes of that in the preseason, and then in the regular season, the Patriots want to pretend like he just can't play football all of a sudden. We're giving carries to Terrell Jennings over our 2nd-round pick. Absolutely not. Feed him the ball, get him those touches out in space. And kind of touching off of what I was just talking about with the Colts, the Patriots wide receiver room, although it doesn't have that alpha, it has a few guys that have been contributing in the passing game. Kyle Williams filling in for Keyshawn Boot, who was out. He had a long touchdown. Obviously, Stephon Diggs, the veteran, holding down that one spot. And Drake May, again, looks comfortable. He had that bad interception late in the game in that red zone. He kind of tossed it up there. That's that young, inexperienced quarterback kind of creeping out. But other than that, and just on the year in general, 71% completion rate, that is impressive. If you are a young quarterback completing that many passes at that rate, that is extremely impressive. And I go back to, I'm not sure if anyone else was watching, but right before halftime, the Patriots had the ball inside the 5-yard line, and there was about 1:40 on the clock. The Buccaneers had no timeouts. They opted to just kneel the ball on 1st down. They threw away their 1st down to let the clock bleed, and they wound up scoring a touchdown. Didn't give the ball back to the Buccaneers before half, and they went into halftime with a lead. And I think that saved their coach from a lot of scrutiny had they not gotten that 4th and 2 touchdown to Stephon Diggs. But the Patriots are very impressive. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Vrabel, and that offense that I thought was going to be really bad has actually turned out to be really good so far.
I 100% agree. I think we had a lot of injuries starting in the game and even people going out in the first half. But the rookie showed up yesterday. I want to talk a little bit more about Kyle Williams you were mentioning.
Yes.
72-yard touchdown is the longest play for the Patriots this season. That's definitely something to point out. Just seeing these rookies step up into that moment. And again, we had 2 touchdowns from Travion Henderson, a 55 and a 69-yard touchdown. I don't know if you saw in that last play, he was running towards the end zone, looking down the sideline, see if he should go down or not. And you had Drake May saying, go down, but he was just looking for his head coach, and I was really happy to see that moment for the young rookie right there.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots are on a 7-game win streak right now. just incredible. They have the next 3 opponents, Jets, Bengals, Giants. So I think that win streak will
3 more
continue.
wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Travion Henderson is leading in rushing for them, and he has 430 yards. 147 of them were against the Bucs. I mean, it's just a standout performance from him. Stephon Diggs, he's getting up there. I don't think anyone expects him to still come in clutch, but he has been for the Patriots, so it's good to see that. Drake May, obviously incredible stats. Getting over his sophomore slump. I mean, some of the other quarterbacks hit some hard, so.
I kind of like what you said about Drake May. I think he is so young and has so much potential, and if it's not this year we see him at MVP, next year it will be. And even head coach says he trusts him. He's a smart player. We can see that he knows football inside and out the ball, so it's definitely something to see. And I want to make a outshot comparison right now. I mean, he's 72% completion rate, throwing for over 9 yards. There's an MVP out there at the Patriots as Tom Brady, who had the same stats in 2007, and that's a similar comparison we can see for MVP, in my opinion.
Yeah, just to, add some more stats. He has 2,555 passing yards, 3rd most in the NFL. That's only 20 less than what he had last year, and he's done that in 3 less games. You can see the development there. You mentioned that incomplete pass that he should have thrown where he threw a pick in the end zone. Don't worry about that. That's just a young quarterback. 19 passing touchdowns, also tied for 3rd. I mean, between him and the guy in Indianapolis, those are 2 MVPs right there. So
yeah, and I actually, I'm going to touch on the Buccaneers a little bit. Just a quick little thing. In case, Todd Bowles happens to be watching 360 Sports right now, please run the football. I know you don't have Bucky Irving, but in Tampa's 3 L's this year, Baker has had 43, 50, and 40 pass attempts. There is an obvious correlation with that. You want to keep that time of possession high for your football team, keep those possessions sustained. So please stop just airing it out every single time. We keep seeing these things about the cardiac Bucks. You wouldn't have to win every game on the last drive of the game if you had some sustained clock control. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, you definitely. One of the best ways to keep your quarterback healthy is to run the ball, get a good ground game. But yeah, Irving is injured. But moving on, the NFL trade deadline was about a week ago. And what are your guys' favorite moves so far? It's only been a week, so.
I really like Raheem Shahir, the wide receiver who came from the Saints, is now at the Seahawks. He's on my fantasy team, so I'm not complaining there. I mean, if you talk a little about the Seahawks offensive coordinator, he was with the Saints last season. He has that relationship with Shaheed, and so when he came here, they know there was a comfortability level, and now he's playing right by JSN. So I think this is something that we could definitely see, wide receiver 1 and 2 matchup that will be great for the Seahawks.
I absolutely agree. That was my favorite trade, too. I think it was a win-win situation. The Saints, I mean, they need all the picks they can get to rebuild next year, and pairing Shaheed with JSN is perfect for the Seahawks, just bringing up their powerhouse offense, and what more could they need? They're playing amazing. So.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the big guy that went to Dallas, Quinnen Williams. That was a shocker. That actually, as a Cowboys fan myself, unfortunately, I was shocked looking at my phone when I got that Adam Schefter notification because Jerry had been running his mouth for the past 48 hours prior to the deadline saying, oh, we have a trade. And I was like, this is just Jerry keeping fans engaged. Y'all don't have a trade. Maybe for, we saw them they kicked off the deadline with the Logan Wilson trade for a 7th rounder. Cool, that's fine. That's not going to fix your god-awful defense. And so I was like, okay, that's the trade Jerry was talking about. And then they send a 2027 first and a 2026 second-round pick to the Jets in return for Quinnen Williams, who top 5, top 3 defensive tackle, kind of in that range in the league. And essentially what Dallas has done they've turned Micah and a 2026 second-round pick into Kenny Clark, a 2026 first-round pick, and Quinnen Williams. And when you look at that contract breakdown, Micah costs about $47 million a year in salary. Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams combined for less than that at $45 million. So Dallas still has 3 first-round picks. I don't think giving up major capital when they're 3-5-1 made a ton of sense, but I think economically it was a good move for Dallas.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Logan Wilson trade. I'm telling you, he's going to be good.
Yes.
I mean, he was on Cincinnati and he struggled, but everybody struggles on that defense. So that Logan Wilson trade's good. But you mentioned Quinnen Williams. I'm going to go to the team that traded him, the Jets. I think this deadline for them, they're going all in for the Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin combination. I think in 2 years from now, when they're both draft eligible, they will get them both. And if not, they can get at least one of them. If they want Jeremiah Smith, they could get him. They have 3 first-round picks for that draft. And then this year, bolster up that defense, get a little younger. I mean, this Jets team, now granted, they're going to have to play good to prove it, but I think this team is going to be very scary in a few years. And if not, then nothing really happened because they've never really been that good. So,
I mean, you're a Bengals guy. What do you think about these stacking up picks for Burrow rumors? Any truth to that?
No, do not know. If you trade Joe
I'm
Burrow,
not buying it either, bro.
if you trade Joe Burrow, I might not watch football for a couple of years because
That's not ridiculous.
That is going to be a horrible move if you do that. But moving forward, I'm sure we all saw the news by now. Ryan Dable got fired, which was out of nowhere, honestly. But we're going to go to the board and talk about coaches who we think are on the hot seat moving forward. Kennedy, you're first.
All right, so I think my coach for a hot seat pick is Mike McDaniels out of Miami Dolphins. Honestly, his team, we've seen a lot of lack of trust, and I think he cannot control a team. I don't think he has the professionalism as well. If we look at the media, currently Tua Tagovailoa was just talking about the locker room and how the confidence in the team has gone down. And even last year, Tyreek Hill saying he wants to get out of Miami. And I didn't want to go look at the stats of this. They were 9-8. His first season in 2022, made a playoff appearance, lost that first round. Second year, they were 11-6 in 2023, lost that first round. But then this is the downhill decline we keep seeing. They just went downhill after that. And this year, they're only 2-7. That leaves Mike McDaniels with 30-30 and a 0-2 playoff appearance. I think there's some struggles there. And yes, we got rid of our general manager, Chris Greer. But, however, even the Bills lost. The Bills we won against last week. I still think there's some things that need to be handled out, and I think that decision will be Mike McDaniels.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't feel like he's ever had a big control in that locker room. He was kind of brought in for that scheme, not necessarily to lead the team. And now it's just when the scheme's not working, you lose Tyreek. It feels like you're just at rock bottom in Miami.
Yeah,
I agree.
Tua's not producing anymore either. I mean, he's got to go. So I think clean house would do the Dolphins well.
Yeah, you mentioned Tua not producing. It's like he came in, new offense, lit up the league, and then now it's kind of just like, all right, when are you going to take your next step? When are you going to take your next step? And he's just never done that. So, he's absolutely on the hot seat. So, sorry.
No, I think there was 4 seasons Mike has had to produce something. Mm-hmm. And you already look at head coach Mike Vrabel with the Patriots. He's 1 season in, and they've already turned that season around. So I think he's had enough time, and I think he should be out the door.
Yeah, definitely need a clean house. So moving forward, Cadyn.
All right. I went with a little bit of maybe not a favorite to be fired, but struggles down in Atlanta. Raheem Morris. Atlanta has lost the last 4 games they've played. They're fall to 3-6 now after that overtime loss to the Colts. And Raheem Morris, we have seen him as a head coach prior to joining the Falcons. 32-53 as a head coach in his career on the Falcons. And so we have seen that he is not capable of winning so far as a head coach. He brought in Zach Robinson from the Los Angeles Rams to kind of bolster a very talented offensive unit. They have Bijan Robinson, arguably one of the better running backs in the league. Drake London, a very talented young receiver. Michael Penix Jr., the talented quarterback. And Kyle Pitts, people have their words about Kyle Pitts. The talent is there. So when you have that nucleus of guys, you must be able to produce on offense. And thus far, the Falcons have not. They are 27th in the league in points per game. They're even worse in some other offensive margins. And the problem is it's not using Bijan. He is 14th in carries in the NFL. And when you have a guy that talented, you need to maximize his usage. You need to get him the football, get him going. And that kind of generates sustained drives. And we saw yesterday, the Colts ran 80 plays. That is a recipe to lose in the NFL. If the other team ran 80 plays on you, that means your defense is gassed. So what the Falcons need to do, and Raheem Morris specifically, is figure out how to sustain longer drives, get the football to Bijan Robinson, or else that seat is hot. And let me tell you, Arthur Smith is not a patient man. He is not a patient man. I know this from firsthand experience. I was on a family vacation, and we were waiting for a table. I'm not kidding. This is a real story. And all of a sudden, my dad goes, "Oh my gosh, it's Arthur Smith," or Arthur Blank rather. And they took our table. Arthur Blank whispered to the hostess and was like, said something, and our table was given away. So his patience with Raheem Morris might just be running thin as well.
Crazy story there.
Like, I'm not even kidding. It's when I saw this, it was like a perfect opportunity to rant about him stealing our table at the restaurant.
It's a good outside perspective,
What
though.
a passion into that
right.
one. Wow.
If he can't wait 30 minutes for a table, is he going to wait for a winning head coach? I don't know. I don't know.
And the other thing is the problem with the next head coach will not have a first-round pick. You mentioned
They
the young
traded
core
it,
on
yeah.
offense. Yeah, the young core on defense. I think it was James Pierce Jr. who they got. I mean, it's not looking good. And of course, it was to the Rams. The Rams are balling right now. They're gonna have a top 10 pick at an 8-2.
Oh.
Like, they're gonna be scary. So, Katie, who do you have?
All right. So my pick for coach in the hot seat is Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. He has been with the Browns since 2020, and he's had, yes, some very good years, won Coach of the Year, but it's the consistency with him. He's 42 and 49 as head coach with them. He just gave over his offensive coordinator duties, or play calling duties to the offensive coordinator, so clearly he doesn't have enough faith in himself. The Browns offense is the worst in the league, averaging 15.8 points per game. I mean, they're just not producing over there, and I think it's time for him to go. And hopefully the Browns can have some more consistency with the new head coach in there and get some better decisions, play calling, and everything for their franchise.
Feels like he's been on the hot seat for the past 3 seasons. And just sticking with him.
It's kind of hard to fire him because he has a top 5 defense year in and year out. But that
know.
offense is so bad. And I mean, and it's the excuse, I don't have anything to work with, all that stuff. I don't know. It's like, I think he does need to go, to be fair.
I mean, they just lost to the Jets. They just traded away all their weapons.
tankable.
You're losing to the Jets. I mean, that's a sign that I think it's time to go.
I don't think there's anything wrong with losing to the Jets. I'm just going to be honest with Cincinnati.
It's the NFL.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No,
Every Sunday.
Yeah,
they-
any given Sunday.
They definitely need to move on from him, and they need an offense. So, yeah. Well, all right, I'm up, and I'm going to stay in the state of Cincinnati. And I brought up losing to the Jets because this guy on your screen lost to the Jets as well. And I mean, I don't even know where to start with this guy. I don't think it's all his fault. It's the whole organization as a whole, in my opinion. But the segment is head coaches. I think he needs to go. Mike Brown, I think you need to sell the team. Duke Tobin, I think you need to go. Dan Pitcher, you're the only one that knows how to do their job because the offense puts up 40 points every week. But, yeah, this guy needs to go. He is 9-28 without Joe Burrow, which is honestly, I think it's pretty impressive that the losing record's that bad, considering the fact you went to a Super Bowl and an AFC championship. So, Zach Taylor, I'm sorry, but your time needs to go.
So, I fear I agree with you.
Yeah, I was looking at these stats, and it's impressive. I mean, it is impressive. The fact that you were one snap away from winning the Super Bowl, everything a coach would like to do. Go to the AFC Championship the next year, and then you miss the playoffs the next 3.
I mean, the Burrow injuries certainly don't help.
Yeah.
But
like
it's
last
the NFL.
year, I mean,
You've got to elevate your guys.
Burrow threw for 5,000 yards last year, 50 touchdowns, and it's just, I don't know. It's so bad right now. So let's go. Let's move on from negative
To positive.
from negative coaching staffs to strongest divisions. What division do you guys think is the best, and why?
I think the NFC North and West. I'm going to take my pick. I'm a huge Lions fan. I'm going to have to go with the West. The West has some strong teams, both 7-2. We have the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks, and I think the biggest test for both of them to see who is going to take that NFC West title, it's going to be coming on this Sunday. This Sunday we'll see, and I think we have to look at how the Rams played this past Sunday. They had a 13 personnel with 3 tight ends in the back, and honestly, no other team's doing it as well as the Rams, and I think we have to also look at their quarterback, Matthew Stafford, through his 400 touchdown on Sunday. That's something to celebrate, and all the team's excited, and they're on this emotional high. And I think even his age takes a part of it. He looks great. And then you look at Aaron Rodgers, who's also an older quarterback. He's 41 years old. He's not looking too good. But
Yeah.
I think the Rams is the one team that we have to be on the lookout for. And the Seattle Seahawks is another one they're loaded on offense. JSN, they have all their wide receiver rooms locked up. And I think it's just this big game on Sunday is going to be the real telltale. So who is the best in the West?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the AFC. Stay in the West, though. Give me the AFC West. On paper, it might not be the strongest records, but Broncos sitting at 8-2, Chargers 7-3, Chiefs 5-4. Chiefs, they started off 0-2, so that 5-4 record is a little skewed. But we know they're going to be there at the end of the year. It's the Chiefs. They're going to figure it out. But I kind of went a different direction as far as why they're the strongest. I think that specifically going into Arrowhead, going into Mile High, going to the West Coast to play the Chargers, all three of those environments are very tough. They're taxing on players. They're exhausting, the elevation specifically. It's very loud in Arrowhead. And then the coaching. Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Peyton, they're all proven through and through guys. They can out-coach you, out-scheme you, and that's dangerous. So this division is going to come down to the wire. Obviously, the Broncos and Chargers are 8-2, 7-3, standing right next to each other. And they play each other Week 18, the last week of the season. So it's a two-team race for now. I'm going to lean towards the Broncos winning that division because I think they're just healthier than the Chargers. Chargers are really banged up on the offensive line, and that's never a good thing. But I think this division combined with, elite coaching and some tough atmospheres, I think it's a really good division.
Yeah, I also said the AFC West. I think the Broncos, they're on that 7-game win streak. Bo Nix has been doing incredible for them. I mean, they will probably, I think they'll win the division as well, and most likely be one of the top-ranked teams in the AFC for playoffs. And then you have the Chargers. They just, I don't know if they dominated the Steelers, but the Steelers weren't all there, but they tore them apart with that win. They're 7-3. Herbert's playing well, second in the league with passing yards. And then you have the Chiefs. Their record, I don't think reflects how well they played this season.
Yeah.
They, like you said, 0-2 start. So I think they're the Chiefs. They always get their momentum back, especially going towards the playoffs. So I think they will come back. And the records also, don't really reflect for this division, but it's like, the atmosphere's coaching, everything you said, it's just all there. And then the Raiders, I think this season is definitely not their season, 2-7, but they have their rookie second years like Genty and Bowers, and I think with those young guys, they'll build up and hopefully get in the running for division leader. But yeah, I think the AFC West is the best.
Yeah, I actually did a West division, but I did the NFC like how you did. I mean, the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, I'm going to be honest, I owe you an apology.
Yeah.
It was last year when I said I think the Vikings should go out and trade for somebody like Matt Stafford because I didn't know Sam Darnold was able to keep it up through the year.
Yeah.
Proved me wrong. Signs of the Seahawks. He's absolutely balling right now. The Rams, Matt Stafford. Oh, fun fact, he just got 500 record on his career.
Okay.
You can thank the Lions for that one.
Yeah.
Seriously, because he's been winning in LA.
Right.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Yeah.
And then the 49ers, I mean, the fact that they're 6-4 right now with Mac Jones at quarterback, I mean, I'm not saying Mac Jones is bad.
Hey, he looks good.
He's looking good this year.
Not impressive for all the injuries.
Yeah, with and that too, the injuries on defense. I mean, Bosa, Warner, a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think the NFC West. I mean, they had 3 teams in the playoffs. Same with the AFC West. But I mean, they're so top heavy right now. And yeah, so all right, moving on. We have some football tonight. We have the Eagles and Packers. Any predictions?
I give my home field advantage to the Packers. I mean, that's a hard stadium to play in, and there's cold weather there. That's a lot to be shaken up, and obviously they're going to be traveling on the road, the Eagles. But I think we have to look at last year. Jordan Love got shaken up with a few fumbles. He needs to be confident in his offensive line and sit back in the pocket, really reflect on the field. Trust in your wide receivers. They're there. I mean, you're obviously probably not going to be passing as much tonight due to the weather, but both teams had a great rush game, and I think it's going to be a running game to see who wins tonight.
I am going to take the Eagles. I don't love saying that, but Nick Sirianni, as Eagles head coach, is 4-0 coming off the bye. I think bye weeks are extremely beneficial. You're getting a whole extra week to review film, heal up, get some rest. And I honestly just think in general, the Packers, their record is good, but if you genuinely watch the games, they have been in dogfights with not great teams. Their defense is susceptible, despite that Micah Parsons trade. And I don't know, the loss to the Panthers last week for the Packers kind of proved what I had thought about them as a Cowboys fan in that 40-40 tie, overtime tie. So I'm just going to take the Eagles. I think they're in a better spot right now. I don't really trust Jordan Love in big games yet, so give me the Eagles. I'll go 28-20 Philadelphia.
Yeah, I also, it is tough to say, but I do think the Eagles will pull this one off just by a bit. But if their offense can be explosive, I think they've not been lacking that, but they haven't really shown their fullest potential with offense. I mean, Saquon hasn't been like the Saquon we usually see. Yeah. So I think if they can be very explosive, run game, pass game, everything. They should pull out the win. I think the Packers, that Tucker Kraft injury, I mean, he was leading in receiving yards, so I think that is going to take a huge toll on them. I don't know, I had him on my fantasy team. That was devastating to see. But, yeah, the Packers, I think they have the better defense, but, I mean, it's hard to stop Saquon, so I don't know. But, yeah.
Yeah, you brought up Saquon Barkley, and, I mean, last week was kind of, last week, whenever he went off against the Giants, I mean, we finally found him, gashing open those big runs. And product of that is because of the offensive line. I mean, once again, you're missing 2 Hall of Famers in Landon Dickerson and Lane Johnson. But I think this game for Saquon Barkley, I have somewhat of a hot take. I think he's going to go for over 120 yards tonight. I think he's finally back. I mean, you can only take him down for so much. I'm just going to be honest with you. This Packers team, their defense is phenomenal. I'll give him that. But Jordan Love, he has a tendency to just have these stupid moments and stupid games. And I mean, you can almost pencil an interception every game, which I hate to say, but it's true. And I just don't think that offense can carry this team just yet. And Tucker Kraft mentioned him being out. I mean, this is a guy, one of the best tight ends in the league. And when you're missing that, it's going to be bad. So.
Yeah. Also, the Eagles' defense has 3 new players from the trades, including Jair Alexander, who's a former Packer. He's with them for, I think, 7 seasons.
Yeah.
So, a little homecoming game for him tonight. So, it should be interesting to see that.
That Jair Alexander trade. I mean, I know Eagles fans are very mad about Adoree Jackson, and Cousin brought up a good point. He's like, why would we let go of Darius Slay in one of the last years of his contract for Adoree Jackson, who's just been struggling? Yeah. I mean, that trade for Jair Alexander is kind of necessary for that team. Trying to think of other playmakers.
I'm interested to see Jalen Phillips, who was just traded from Miami to the Eagles. The Eagles, it's just always, that front 7 is always good. They're always bringing in new guys to kind of replenish that talent. A lot of their guys leave in free agency, then they make trades to bring them back. So they spent a 3rd-round pick on Jalen Phillips, who's been an injured guy, but when he's healthy, he's extremely efficient at rushing the passer. I think 2nd pass rush win rate this season. So I'll be interested to see how much tread he gets tonight against a Packers offensive line that can definitely let some pass rushers through.
Yeah, you mentioned that D-line, they just keep replenishing people. I mean, it was a couple years ago where I think 4 separate players on that D-line had 10 sacks. That was that's insane. They do a great job of getting fresh legs in. Jalen Phillips, hopefully he stays healthy. I mean, that's one of his biggest problems. Coming off an Achilles tear is pretty bad. But yeah, I also want to see one more player. I want to see Matthew Golden step up. He's their first-round pick at receiver for who knows when.
Years,
I mean, it's been a while, and he hasn't had that game yet. And if the Packers want a chance to win this game, I think Matthew Golden has to step up. So, sadly, I'd like to talk about football all day, but we can't. So, this show's sadly coming to an end. Stay tuned tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. You know the time. You know the place. I'm Peyton, Cadyn, Kennedy, Katie. I'm so happy that I didn't mess that up. That is a mouthful. So have a great day.